Welcome back. Up until recently, not very many people heard of it, but that's changed now. Juneteenth is getting wide recognition.
Now, basically, it commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. Joining us now to talk more about that is Dr. Carey Latimore, Associate Professor of History at Trinity University. Dr. Latimore, nice to have you with us.
My pleasure to be here with you again.
Yeah, so we know that Juneteenth is being celebrated in a big way in San Antonio this year. What do you think about this holiday finally getting the recognition that it deserves?
I think it's wonderful for so many reasons. Number one, Juneteenth is really a type of humble celebration. So you have a group of people who were enslaved, they're freed, they keep it close to their hearts, they celebrate it, and 150 some odd years later, we now recognize what they did as a holiday. And that's the wonderful thing, is that it's a family celebration. It's a group of people who celebrated together. And that's really what it's about, is unity, family, community.
Now, this holiday gained more traction after the police killing of George Floyd. What do you think we should remember for this holiday?
I think that Nelson Mandela's autobiography is called A Long Walk to Freedom. And one of the things in our nation is that sometimes freedom and liberty, it takes a long time. And you look at Juneteenth and, the enslaved people, they were freed on that day. Many of them, a lot of them were not. And yet, so many years later, the struggle still continues. And so when you think about that, I think that those are the things that take from it, is that freedom is something that is fought for. We have to celebrate it, but we also have to remember that it sometimes comes with a price and with a struggle. And we have to work hard to ensure that freedom and equality and justice is for all. But we have to really work hard to ensure that those rights and privileges are for all people.
Right, because it's not like slavery was over and everything was just gravy for African Americans. I mean, it was sharecropping.
The amendment to free song.
Yeah. So, sharecropping, Jim Crow laws, things like that. So I wanted to ask you about this, because now we're seeing a lot of things. When you go online, you're seeing a lot of Juneteenth type theme party celebrations. The intentions might be good, right? But
Right.
Often a lot of these holidays end up being commercialized, and people think it takes away from the original purpose of what the holiday is supposed to be. So how do you think we can stop that from happening with Juneteenth?
I think one of the ways that we can stop it is to look at the meaning of Juneteenth and to remember what it was all about from the beginning. And that means to go back to the foundations, to look at the Emancipation Proclamation, to look at what that didn't do, to look at how it took so many years for the Emancipation Proclamation to end up being extended into Texas and why. And then to look at what Juneteenth meant and also didn't mean. So to go back to the roots. I think the commercialization, there's nothing that we can really do about that. It's going to happen. But to go back to the roots of what that first Juneteenth was like, to remember the happiness, but also to remember the difficulties that lay ahead. And I think that if we do that, we'll do justice to Juneteenth as a holiday.
Just one thing that I noticed was when I was reading up on the history of Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't take immediate effect, which I think a lot of people don't realize. It's like, you'll be free in a few months.
It wasn't, we signed it, you're good.
And also remember that, the Confederate States were in rebellion against the United States. And so Lincoln makes an order saying that all of the slaves in the Confederate States are free. Well, they're in rebellion against the Confederate States. So they're not going to follow that order. And one thing that Lincoln also does is exclude many of the slaves that were in states that were in the United States, or enslaved people that were in areas that were under control of the Union Army at that point in time. So the Emancipation Proclamation is a very political document, but it's a very important document because it puts the issue of slavery at the forefront. And it makes this a war. It was always a war about slavery, but it formalizes that.
Going back to the root of Juneteenth, San Antonio's having many events for Juneteenth. IKEA and Live Oak had a history installation. The San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum held another event today. There's going to be a number of celebrations at Comanche Lookout Park this entire weekend. Some people aren't as familiar with celebrations. What would you tell them before they go?
Well, one, to learn a little bit about Juneteenth before you go, but to also be prepared to eat well. Many of these celebrations, you will eat very well. And so be prepared.
Oh, just basically have I guess, an open stomach, open heart, open mind, all
absolutely.
these things. Just
skip breakfast.
yeah.
Absolutely. You may, if it's early in the day, you may want to skip dinner as well.
All right. Now, unfortunately, Dr. Latimore, some people see African American history as separate from American history when it's all intertwined. How do you make people feel like Juneteenth is a holiday for every American?
African American history is American history, and American history is also African American history. I celebrate the 4th of July. I'm happy to do so because my direct ancestors, my grandparents, my grandfathers, many times removed, were African Americans who fought in the Revolutionary War. They, even though they weren't fully free, they were free African Americans, but they weren't fully free. They saw something in this nation that they celebrated, and they fought for it. Juneteenth is the same thing. When one person becomes free, we all become a little bit more free. And so we have to celebrate those small victories. And Juneteenth is not just a small victory. It was a big victory, but it was a day in which some people became free and our nation became better because of it. And because of that, we have to celebrate it. And African American history is completely American history. It's the story of America. And American history is a story of the African American and vice versa.
Can't have one without the other.
We have to understand all of that. And when we do justice to all of our history.
And another big victory is the fact that Juneteenth is now getting so much more recognition as it should have many years ago.
Yeah, it was just signed. It was a federal holiday as of last year because of President Joe Biden. But Dr. Carey Latimore, we'll have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for joining us today, giving us some insight on this American holiday. We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.